Hello friends. What if the Black Wolf was about to face a decision that could change not only his future, but the fate of the entire Shinobi world? Welcome to Part 12, where secrets unfold, powerful enemies attack, and Naruto's legend grows stronger than ever. Before we begin, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let's get started. Chapter 16. Another one bites the dust. Fire Country is blessed by nature by many ways that other countries become rather envious about. The temperature wasn't as high as Wind Country and its water supply was 10 times as much. It didn't have dangerous storms like Lightning Country, although it rains just the necessary amount to supply the flora and fauna with fresh air and water to cool the temperature. Also, where all you can see is a wide set of forest around, in Earth Country, there is nothing but rock scattered around the place. The day today couldn't be better. It was spring and the temperature wasn't too hot, allowing a cool wind breeze to swing by and cool off 5 Konoha nins that happened to be stopping near a lake in order to drink some water. Naruto and his Anbu team along with Kurenai had been traveling close to 5 hours now, so they stopped for a while. Normally, being an Anbu wasn't such a thing as getting time to rest, however this mission wasn't considered a normal one. Tracking a tailed beast was hard enough, also the team could expect to run into Akatsuki once more, so saving as much chakra and stamina was the best course of action, considering they knew little to nothing of what they would expect once arrival. Kakashi was wondering if they would find some new members of that organization and feared for the worst. Apart from the ones already taken care of, the only one Konoha knew of was Uchiha Itachi, and if such a foe appeared, Kakashi would be hard-pressed not to feel like his group is outmatched, even if it would be 5 against 1. Aside from Itachi, the other members were a secret and even Jiraiya couldn't find the rest. The silver-haired man was currently filling up his canteen when he turned to see the black-masked Anbu next to him, doing pretty much the same thing. Kakashi couldn't help but smile upon seeing the level both of maturity and skills that Naruto was able to reach in so little time. It seemed just yesterday that he was chosen to be the Junin sensei of Team 7, and hearing the blonde screaming to the heavens everything that came out of his mouth. Right now, though, the blonde was anything but hyperactive. On the contrary, Naruto canalized his pent-up energy into chakra and is, then, able to withstand longer fights and long training regimes. Naruto, for his part, was filling up his canteen, before he closed the bottle and went back to see how Kurenai was doing. Said woman was panting a lot from overexertion, but she knew following an Anbu team was hard work, so she didn't complain. Right now, she was massaging her legs a little bit, while waiting for her boyfriend to come back with some water for her. Upon looking up, she saw the black-masked Anbu approaching, before he stretched his arm, thus offering the woman some water, before settling down next to his girlfriend. "How are you feeling?" asked Naruto, to which Kurenai responded by saying that her legs stopped aching, but her chakra flow was unstable right now, which meant that she couldn't use it, otherwise it would be depleted soon enough. "Relax for a while, according to the fox, we are still maybe a couple of hours away from our destination, so we'll take another short stop, before meeting with the Sanbi. Rest up a bit, Kur-chan," said Naruto, caressing her shoulders a little bit, since he couldn't take off her mask, and got up to check on Bear and Hawk for a while. Even though he was the one guiding the team through their destination, Hawk was the team leader and captain, so he was calling the shots. Naruto arrived on what was some discussion between Bear and Hawk regarding their mission. Bear was about to reply to what Hawk said about maybe encountering other enemy villages, before greeting Black Wolf. "Ah, Black Wolf, me and Hawk Taiko here were discussing our possible opposition in reaching the Sanbi. What are your thoughts about it?" asked the big-sized man, to which Naruto turned to think for a while, before responding. The call for help could only be heard from those of the beast's kind, hence how Kyuubi managed to hear it. Other than me, it's fair to say that other Jinchurikis must have heard it as well, so it wouldn't be a surprise if we encountered a Jinchuriki. The problem is, though, that said Jinchuriki did the same thing as I did, so I guess his or her village would send the ninja back. Not only that, but if Akatsuki learned of the tailed beast's position, then we'd have to face them as well, stated Naruto, before Kakashi arrived at the group and exposed his line of thought. Our top priority is to battle Akatsuki, but should any other village appear, I also fear that they could attempt to use Sanbi as means to have a new Jinchuriki, and that is something we cannot allow. According to Black Wolf, the Sanbi is weak from using too much energy to escape their grasp, so it wouldn't be hard to use Fuinjutsu and seal him for good, explained Kakashi, to which the group nodded, before Naruto turned and walked up to Kurenai, before seating next to her once more. Although her mask was on, Naruto knew that something was up and couldn't shake the feeling that Kurenai was afraid of something. "What is in your mind, Kur-chan?" asked Naruto, to which Kurenai smiled behind her mask. She was really surprised that her boyfriend knew her so well, despite her face being covered by her mask. "I'm sure of nothing, don't worry about me. It's just that Bijou and Akatsuki sort of became a tough subject for me to handle. They are after you and I'm worried that something might happen. I don't want to lose you," said Kurenai, earning a sigh of worry from Naruto. He knew where this was coming from, since Akatsuki's drive was rather annoying to say the least, but he wanted to comfort his girlfriend enough that she feels safe around him, so he asked for her to cast a genjutsu on the both of them, so they could take face to face. Kurenai nodded and made a couple of hand seals before both Naruto and Kurenai became invisible, thus allowing them to remove their masks. Upon seeing Kurenai's face, Naruto's heart began to ache immediately. She was looking down and the sign of past tears was plainly visible. Naruto didn't want to lose her either, also he didn't want to see that face of hers ever again. It clutched his heart too, although indirectly, be the cause of her sadness, and moved to give her a strong and comforting hug. Kurenai welcomed the hug and shoved her face on his chest. After the hug was over, Naruto moved to kiss her lips softly for a while, before looking at her red eyes and smiling. "Kurenai-chan, there is no kunai or powerful jutsu that could hurt me more than seeing you cry," said Naruto before he grabbed Kurenai's hands and looked at her eyes once more, before continuing. "My enemies, although powerful, don't even match the power of my allies. No matter what happens, I'll always come back for you, Red Rose," finished Naruto, before kissing her once again under the sunlight. Kurenai was always taken aback by how lovely her boyfriend is and how with just a few words, he could comfort her in more ways than no one ever did. In a moment, she felt silly for worrying too much and voiced it to Naruto. The blonde smiled, in return, and assured her to talk to him every time she needed to. "I want to be there for you, Kurenai-chan," said Naruto, earning a nod from Kurenai before she hugged him once more and then got up from the ground. Once the genjutsu was dispelled, the group could see both Naruto and Kurenai there unharmed, so they were relieved. Before sensing Kurenai's chakra, both Hawk and Bear turned to see, but they were already gone. Kakashi, however, smiled at the scene played in front of him, since his Sharingan couldn't be fooled by the genjutsu. Naruto knew how to calm Kurenai down, he thought, and wondered about the couple's future. After everything was sorted up, the group initiated their course of action. Inside a cave Orochimaru, of course, wasn't known throughout the elemental nations as being a rather ruthless individual. So it was safe to say he didn't have any sort of attachment to anyone. He was staring at the body of his second-in-command Yakushi Kabuto, completely trashed with marks that came from what seemed to be a lightning attack. From the spy he sent to check on his experiments with the cursed seal, he came to know that Kabuto's corpse was located inside a huge crater, and Orochimaru wondered which attack would be potent enough to kill Kabuto as well as dig so deep the land. It wouldn't matter though, as Orochimaru had some ideas about how to use Kabuto's healing ability and finally perfect the cursed seal level 3. The only goddamn problem was finding a new host for him, though. The last time he had to switch was over 2.5 years ago, so he'd have to find someone worthy to do it, so that he could attempt to finalize the operation on advancing his ultimate creation, the cursed seal. The man did have the courtesy to curse, though, as his top subjects were utterly destroyed by what seemed to be ninjas from Konoha, and after Orochimaru heard the spy's info, he seriously wondered if the Anbu was responsible. Surprisingly, Orochimaru was made aware of one Anbu team being able to accomplish quite many things together, and one of them was defeating Akatsuki member Hoshikage Kisame. Orochimaru even knew that Itachi chose to flee at the time, and that was saying something. Just thinking about the elder Uchiha made the snake face snarl in anger. The Sharingan was his ultimate goal, and when Itachi joined Akatsuki, Orochimaru once tried to possess the Dujutsu, however he couldn't do squat against the Uchiha's unlimited potential in Genjutsu, which in turn trapped Orochimaru in place, stopping him for whatever moves he intended at the time. Orochimaru thought about using Sasuke once again, but then remembered not sensing his cursed seal being used at all after the damn Kyuubi brat managed to take him away. It was like Sasuke managed, somehow, to suppress the will of the cursed seal and learn to control his emotions, which in turn stopped the fuel for the cursed seal. Few actually knew this, but the secret of the cursed seal is that it was to be fed with negative emotions such as anger, insecurity and hatred. That's why Sasuke couldn't get rid of the cursed seal before, from being so focused on hatred and anger towards Itachi, hence feeding the seal every time. The snake face, even with all his wisdom, was acknowledging his lack of options right now. He was now alone to do everything since Kabuto passed away, and he didn't, yet, have a suitable body to pass on to in 6 months. No matter, though, the man's drive was too much to simply give up now. He knew it would be a long shot, but if he manages to complete the Curse Seal Level 3, then he could find a suitable body for him, in order to either steal Itachi or Sasuke's Sharingan. In Konoha In Konoha, more precisely the Anbu HQ, 2 of their members were fighting each other. Shino and Shikamaru, after their fight against Naruto, started evaluating their techniques and how much they could improve them. Shikamaru remembered how Naruto managed to get past his shadow and went to ask his father about creating ramifications for the shadow possession technique. Needless to say, his father was impressed and immediately taught his son how to do such advanced shadow manipulation, which in turn was called Kage Nui no Jutsu, shadow sewing jutsu. Shika also remembered how much chakra he had to endure for the Kage Bunshin and wondered what he could do to increase his chakra reserves. Shino, for his part, concluded that his speed in ninjutsu must be refined. Between making the needed hand seals for the technique and its execution, Shino lost precious time and thus, allowing Naruto to see the technique being created and also allowing him room to dodge. The 2 of them were now in a straight taijutsu match in hopes of raising their stamina and increasing the force of the blows. Another thing about Naruto's fight was that each punch or kick that Naruto hit them with, were more like being hit by a ton of bricks, so they wondered if Naruto's ability to use chakra isn't suited only for ninjutsu and genjutsu, but also for taijutsu. For once, his agility rose tenfold when he applied chakra for better propulsion. "Say, Shino, what don't we change into ninjutsu training?" asked Shikamaru, earning a nod from Shino, who in turn began making hand seals for a technique he learned from the library. Raiden Ikazuki Nami, lightning release. Thunder wave jutsu, said Shino as he released the attack on Shikamaru, before seeing the Nara air jump, thus dodging the incoming wave, before making hand seals on the air for Suiten Suigaten no Jutsu, water release, water fang jutsu. The attack was charging quickly against Shino, who in turn used his clan technique called Mushi Cave no Jutsu, insect wall jutsu, which consisted of his bugs surrounding the Aburame, flying at incredible speeds, thus forming a protective vortex. The technique blocked the water attack, but Shikamaru didn't have to guess the next attack and moved for an attack on his own. Just after landing on the ground, Shikamaru made a large series of hand seals for sweetened Suiryuden no Jutsu water release, water dragon jutsu before sending the humongous water dragon to Shino. The bugs stopped the wall and returned to Shino, so he was too damn late to raise any defense, thus resorting to academy-level evasion technique using his bugs as decoy. After Shino escaped the technique, he began some hand seals once more, this time for the first technique he learned called Raiden Rakurai no Jutsu lightning release, Thunderbolt Jutsu before he sent the lightning attack straight at Shikamaru. The technique was too fast to dodge in time, so Shikamaru used the water barrier and let the lightning be conducted up to where the barrier was formed, thus leaving him out of harm's way. Right after the water barrier, Shikamaru kneeled on the ground panting hard. He had been training non-stop in taijutsu, so even if he only used 3 or 4 jutsus, he was, of course, tired. Shino was as well, since he was in the same boat as Shikamaru. Plus the fact that his hive absorbs some of his chakra from time to time, so it was safe to say he felt depleted right now. Nevertheless, Shino knew his ninjutsu improved and that his speed with seals doubled since last time. I think it would be better to just rest a little bit. My chakra is nearly depleted and we have a mission in about 2 hours, said Shino, earning a nod from Shikamaru, who in turn lied down for a while and looked up in order to see the clouds, but instead all he could find was the place's ceiling. I kind of miss watching the clouds, this Anbu job takes a lot out of me, so troublesome. How can Naruto do it and still have time for other stuff? Thought Shikamaru as he closed his eyes for a second and recollected his fight against the blonde. Naruto pretty much beat the crap out of him and he was only limited to taijutsu. The Nair couldn't help but flinch from wondering about Naruto's ninjutsu. Shikamaru sighed in dismay thinking about how tough it must be to fight someone like Naruto and wondered if he would get to face such opponents on Anbu missions. Both he and Shino were more reserved shinobi, not focusing much on brute strength, but instead focusing on the art of deception. In a one-on-one fight, they were nearly unstoppable, but against a group, he wouldn't be able to do much. Naruto, on the other hand, had both the chakra capacity and the technique necessary to deal with not only groups of people, but also individual fights, hence why Shikamaru believed that Naruto to be one of the best shinobis within Konoha. He could just hope that things wouldn't be too hard to control and that his life could go on without much troublesome situations. Shino, for his part, wondered about the blonde as well as his abilities so far. Shino believed himself to be on par with what the Anbu could throw at him. He had his bugs to aid him, plus his ration abilities really helped. Nevertheless, he felt that Naruto was so far up his level that the bug user, often, wondered if Naruto really was the one that graduated together with. His power was higher than most Junins around and even his genjutsu ability was top-notch. Not to mention that Naruto's ninja abilities such as infiltration were out of this world. Shino remembered Naruto's Anbu Junin test and how tough it was to complete it. The bug user oftentimes wondered if he would be able to complete a task where he wasn't allowed to use chakra at all. Just like other of Konoha's clans, Shino just couldn't suppress his chakra because of the Kikaichu bugs inside of him. I wonder if I'll ever reach your level, Naruto. == with Naruto and company == Jumping through the trees, Naruto warned Hawk of their proximity to the target. Hawk nodded and ordered everyone to stop for a while and gather their energy in order to fight any eventual opposition. The group nodded and rested for a while, each of them sitting on the ground and having a conversation with each other, in order to pass the time a little bit. A few distance away from the target, Naruto could already hear Sanbi screaming some language inside his head, but since he didn't understand a word of what he was saying, he waited for Kyuubi to translate. "We are close, he can already feel my presence, so he's greeting me in demon language." He also said that the ones that captured him would certainly send in one member to try and capture him again. However, he warned us to speed things up because it would take a while for his energy to come back and he doesn't know if he could hold his own against this group, translated Kyuubi, though Naruto could hear the fox mumbling about how much of a coward the other demon was. "How much energy he must have used, that he is taking so long to recover?" asked Naruto, though he heard Kyuubi give him a snort in amusement, making it sound like a stupid question to ask. "Our energy doesn't need time to recover, fool. For Sanbi to take this long to recover, it means that in order to escape Akatsuki, he must have sacrificed something. For us demons, our power is measured by the number of our tails. The turtle has 3 tails. However, we can sacrifice one of our tails in favor of using momentary strength bursts. My best guess is that he did just that," explained Kyuubi, earning a nod from Naruto, who, after closing his eyes, was back to the real world, looking at the group talking about how to approach the beast. Kakashi, because of the Sharingan, acknowledged Naruto's inner communication with the demon and asked him about what the fox said. "We are close, the lake is a few miles north from here, but I have to approach the lake alone, I'm afraid," said Naruto, earning looks of worry from the others, before he explained better. "Sanbi is rather afraid of the enemy trying to capture him again, since he's low on energy right now. Therefore, he'll only make himself visible if Kyuubi approaches. Sanbi can feel the fox inside of me, so if I approach him, he'll show up. However, if all of you stand before me, he will keep hiding until I'm left alone," explained Naruto, earning a nod from those present, before Hawk stated that they will be guarding Black Wolf from the shore. "In case of any trouble, he will use his intercom and call us in," stated Hawk. Minutes later, the group got up once more and charged towards their destination. == with Akatsuki == Zetsu was considered to be the best tracker in all of the elemental nations. With his ability to travel below the ground and through the trees, he could be anywhere instantly. Also, he had the ability to trace chakra from a considerable distance, so it wouldn't be hard to track a fleeing-tailed beast. However, as best as his abilities of tracking, apparently Sanbi holds the same mastery in hiding. So far, the half-plant half-human shinobi couldn't find a trace of the demon's chakra or anything that could lead to his whereabouts. He was about to change directions when he sensed up to 10 chakra signatures heading towards the same distance. He could feel that all 10 of the chakra signatures were high Junin level and immediately began to process the information. Zetsu wasn't ignorant to the fact that tailed beasts were and still are every hidden village's dream to control. So it wouldn't surprise the veteran shinobi if he encountered either one of the 5 hidden villages attempting to seal the Sanbi inside a born child to serve the respective village. Of course, Zetsu considered going back to the hideout and expressing this new discovery, simply because extracting the demon out of the Jinchuriki was much easier than sealing the demon itself. Nonetheless, Zetsu pretty much knew that he just couldn't assume things, simply because of his sensory perception. He was still due to consider that just like he was in trouble finding the demon, then the other presences share the same predicament. After all, being an S-ranked shinobi, there weren't many that could rival his abilities. Sinking below the ground once again, Zetsu traveled towards the destination in order to scout the enemy's intentions. == with Naruto As Naruto and the gang traveled towards the destination, Kyuubi was getting more uneasy by the second. It was the same time when Naruto went face to face with Gaara and Naruto feared the encounter of another Jinchuriki. Naruto strived to become a strong shinobi, but he refused to rely on Kyuubi's chakra to win battles. However, while he was denying his inner demon, there was a slight chance that his counterpart didn't think the same way, which would get the team in a whole lot of trouble. Trouble would be an understatement, I'm afraid. If the one I'm sensing is who I think it is, you won't be able to beat him, without my aid, talked Kyuubi for the first time, speaking with Naruto casually. Which demon are you talking about? Asked Naruto, before Kyuubi explained. The only one besides me who wasn't captured yet. The Hachibi, 8 tails, although less powerful than me by a slow margin, can easily kill everyone by simply lifting one of his tails. The good news is that he's not as bloodthirsty as I am, explained Kyuubi, though Naruto was not satisfied with what was about to happen. So, you mean to tell me that 3-tailed beasts will have a little reunion? What are the odds of a full-out confrontation between me and the Hachibi Jinchuriki? Asked Naruto, though slightly afraid of the answer. Just don't piss him off and maybe he won't resort to using the Hachibi's power. However, if he's 100% dependent on the demon, well, safe to say you're screwed, stated Kyuubi, earning a sigh in dismay from Naruto, who in the real world, looked at Kurenai and was instantly worried about her well-being. Man, it was a bad decision to come here. Maybe it isn't. It all depends on the Jinchuriki's state of mind, said Kyuubi, earning a look of disappointment from Naruto, who was still due to meet one Jinchuriki in their right state of mind, or at least kept their respective sanity. Gaara was a lunatic that happened to kill with the purpose of confirming his existence. Somehow, Naruto was relieved upon not knowing any other Jinchuriki besides the now Kazekage, so he at least hoped beyond hope that the Hachibi Jinchuriki wouldn't be controlled by his or her demon. I believe it's better to let your team know of this and make the right decision, advised Kyuubi, to which Naruto nodded and told everything to his team. Kurenai flinched at the mention of facing another Jinchuriki, but the rest of them began to process the information from a professional point of view. It would be safe to assume that the Hachibi Jinchuriki came accompanied by backup, just as we're accompanying Naruto, so if we reach our destination, we'll have to engage them, and Black Wolf, you'd have to face the Jinchuriki. I'm sorry about it, but in terms of power, you'd be the only one who could match him. We'll deal with the remaining opposition, ordered Hawk, earning a nod from the group. After a few more minutes, the Konoha group arrived in what seemed to be a lake surrounded by heavy mist, thus blocking the view entirely. Kakashi, with his Sharingan, noticed something weird with the mist. It appeared that a large genjutsu was casted throughout the area, so anyone could fall for the illusion. Be careful with this mist, everyone. My Sharingan detects a large genjutsu affecting this area, said Kakashi, while looking around the site in order to find the opposition. Naruto, for his part, offered to blow the mist away with a jutsu, but Hawk advised otherwise. It would alert the enemy to our presence, therefore they needed to approach with caution and not be influenced by the illusion mist. After a few steps towards the lake, the members were all caught in the illusion, but none of them thought highly of it and continued to walk towards the lake, where, according to the fox, there is where Sanbi would be expecting Naruto. Looking back at his comrades, Naruto saw Kakashi and Kurenai nod for him to continue his path and have a chat with the turtle. However, just as he was about to place his right foot on the water, he heard the sound of shurikens flying and jumped backwards in time to avoid it. Landing next to his team, the Konoha's team were surprised to face what appeared to be 6 members of Kumo's Thunder Anbu team. Kyuubi had already pointed out the Hachibi Jinchuriki, and Naruto looked to see a rather big man, roughly the size of Bear, and Naruto was unnerved to see not 1 but 8 swords strapped to the man's body. As if the whole team knew who the man was, everyone was focusing on Anbu's 8 swords, as well as the fact that his chakra had a different feeling than those around him. What's the meaning of this attack? Attacking a ninja from another village can lead to war, shouted Hawk, but none of the Kumo nins said anything, until the one with the 8 swords approached and stood face to face with the black-masked Anbu. I don't have a clue on how to create rap lines, so I will save the readers from my pathetic attempts at doing so. Naruto just stood there, unmoving. He wasn't afraid of the enemy, instead just watching his every move and analyzing him if possible. The man was collected, so Naruto presumed he was in control of his actions. The swords alone were already intimidating, but Naruto had the mask to hide his anxiety. I've already seen you before, but I can't quite put it. Your mask is familiar, though, said the big man, but Naruto didn't say anything. It was better for his foe not to know about his reputation as well as his abilities. I'm just a junior Anbu member, sir. And I believe my commander here is waiting for an answer as to why your team deliberately attacked us, stated Naruto, before looking at Hawk and giving him a nod to confirm it. The Hachibi Jinchuriki was intrigued. He knew he saw that mask somewhere, but he couldn't remember. Also, there was the fact that he felt a familiar presence inside the guy and wondered if he was exactly like him. It was at this point that he remembered seeing the newest additions to Kumo's bingo book, and he saw what appeared to be a black-masked Anbu from Konoha, stating that the man was responsible for killing one fair share of Kumo nins and was ranked as a B-ranked shinobi, with the order to kill in sight. Ah, now I know where I saw you, Konoha's Shippu Ukami, Hurricane Wolf. I'm kind of disappointed, though. I expected someone rather taller and more aggressive, stated the Anbu, making Naruto flinch at being caught and silently cursing Tsunade for inventing the goddamn nickname. I guess there is no use hiding that fact from you, is there? However, you are still due to respond to my commander's question, stated Naruto, now being ready for an eventual battle. The man for his part turned to his associates and nodded. Oh, nothing major really. Our objective here is of no concern to Konoha, and as for attacking you, I kind of felt like it, said the man before doing a back flip and throwing all his swords up to the air in unison. That was the signal for attacking, and the Kumo's Thunder Anbu took off their swords as well and fell into a fighting stance. I'll take the big one, you guys scramble with the others. Hike, stay with the dog, please, said Naruto as he began a series of hand seals. Futen Daitapa Wind Release. Great Breakthrough Jutsu. The group, afterwards, scattered and each went against one of them. The Kumo nins didn't have the time to move before the huge gust of wind sent them flying, well except for the one who recognized him as he stood there. Naruto smirked, as the man's swords weren't as heavy as him, so they were sent flying as well. Somehow, I got the feeling that you're the most dangerous of the group, said Naruto as he took his ninjutsu and positioned himself for the battle. The man smiled behind his mask and knew the meaning behind this foe's words. I know you don't know me, and only those within Kumo's village know of my condition. Besides them, the only one who could spot what I carry inside of me could only be another with the same condition. Isn't that right, Jinchuriki? Asked the man, earning a nod from Naruto. I kind of figured that another one would come for the Sanbi, but I never would believe to meet the Hachibi Jinchuriki in person. It's really a pleasure, said Naruto, as he charged the enemy with superior speed, surprising the enemy, who in turn managed to collect one of his swords and managed to block the incoming attack before watching the blonde use his footing to stop the movement and eye the opponent. I must applaud you regarding your sword ability. You sure take care of it a lot to be able to move like that. I really wanted for my students to move as gracefully as you do, but unfortunately I have my 8 swords now and you only have 1. No one can beat the 8, said the enemy, before charging Naruto this time. However, instead of slicing Naruto's body entirely, the Kumo nin passed by him as if the man was transparent. Naruto didn't want to waste this opportunity and used the lake near him as a weapon. After a large series of hand seals for Suiden Suiryuden no Jutsu Water Release. Water Dragon Jutsu. One large water dragon came out of the water and charged towards Naruto's enemy. The enemy for his turn looked up only to see the huge water dragon approaching and placed his arms in front of him, in order to brace the impact. Naruto didn't rest though. he knew the man wouldn't be defeated like this and stood ready for a possible attack. True to his worries, the enemy appeared right next to him with an inhuman speed and began spinning with his 8 swords, before Naruto substituted himself with a nearby stone which was sliced in multiple pieces. You have the skills, I give you that. But you can't hope to beat me without using your demon's power. Only one truly tuned with his demon would be able to go on par with me. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Hachi Kira, brother of the current Raikage and Jinchuriki of the Hachibi and now, your executioner, stated Kira, to which Naruto nodded and presented himself. I have no desire of telling you my name since it would be irrelevant at this point, and I'm the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Yoko, said Naruto, though wanting to see the man's face when he realizes that his demon was far more powerful than the Hachibi. Kira, true to Naruto's words, stiffened a bit. True, he was tuned with his demon and all, but Kyuubi had 9 tails of power while the Hachibi had 8. Surely, he was at a disadvantage. Inside his mind, Kira could only listen. This boy speaks the truth. I can feel Kyuubi-sama's presence within him, even if it's not being used at the moment. Perhaps it would be wise to deal with him without my aid, stated the Hachibi before Kira protested. Fool, you damn well know that Kyuubi is stronger than me, and also should we battle, this world or at least a very large area would cease to exist. Therefore, we cannot confront each other, said Hachibi, earning a nod from Kira. It seems that my demon is a little bit reluctant to lend me his power. No matter though, I'll beat you and bring your head to Kumo. Also, since I'm unable to use my demon, you must have the same restriction, said Kira, earning a nod from Naruto. Unlike you, I'm not reliant on my demon. Let's see who is the better Anbu, said Naruto, before vanishing once again, using chakra to increase the speed of his movements. As he approached, Kira used 4 of his swords for defense. However, Naruto wasn't stupid enough to attack with his sword alone, so he focused wind chakra and channeled through the metal, thus increasing the power of the attack. The impact between Naruto's sword and Kira's 4 echoed throughout the entire area, and Kira was surprised to see that Naruto's attack required all 4 of them to defend. Huh, I believe that the bingo book underestimated you a little bit, Anbu. I believe I have to go tough on you, said Kira, before throwing his swords up once again and positioning his body as to position his swords between every joint in his body and 2 in his hands. This is my perfect stance. There is no attack that could penetrate nor defense that could uphold my attacks. Prepare yourself, said Kira, before vanishing and appearing right in front of Naruto, instantly. The blonde, for his part, was taken by surprise and barely managed to avoid being sliced. However, he suffered 2 cuts on his left arm, thus stopping him from using Kenjutsu. Placing the sword on his back, Naruto began to make some hand seals before whispering Fuden Suido no Tatsumaki, wind release, tornado tunnel jutsu. Kira noticed the hurricane forming, but rather than going up, it was moving straight forward. Kira never knew of this wind technique, and safe to say, he never stood up to a tornado like this before. As the attack approached, Kira began spinning his body, thus using the sword's movements to block the incoming wind. When the attack landed, though, Kira was taken aback by the difference. While in a normal hurricane, only a part of the hurricane would hit, whereas now, Kira had to defend himself against an entire tornado. Naruto for his part knew of a tornado's weakness. If the opponent possessed enough knowledge, he could alter the hurricane's direction, thus making it go another way. So Naruto used his creation, since it would be impossible for this Kira to stop the entire force of the hurricane. True enough, Kira was doing everything he could to get rid of the hurricane and was cursing himself for underestimating the technique and taking it head-on. He was getting tired of this damn technique and immediately used Hachibi's chakra and disrupted the attack. Naruto found this opportunity to be rather surprising. I thought it was you who said not to use our demon's power, said Naruto as he saw a slightly similar aura surrounding Kira's body. The man snarled at his counterpart. Naruto was there crossing his arms, in a real attempt to mock the opponent. Tell me something, why didn't you embrace your demon? Without it, we are just like everybody else, don't you want to be special? Shouted Kira, earning a look of wonder from Naruto. Why was the man so focused on knowing this? I don't know how hard it was for you growing up, but I can tell you for sure, that being a Jinchuriki doesn't make you special, not in the least. On the contrary, they are ostracized since birth for something he or she didn't cause. I happen to be an example of that, as was the Jinchuriki of the one-tailed demon Shikaku. Our childhood was anything but ordinary. People look at you with so much anger on their faces, and no matter what you do, you'll end up being the village's scapegoat for all the damage Kyuubi himself inflicted on Konoha almost 17 years ago. Jinchuriki are known to be each village's most prized weapon, and they seek to capture the demons and control them. It takes a lot of determination not to be controlled by the demon inside of you. Every night, I would wake up in the middle of the night, sweating in fear from the sights of destruction and blood that happened to be caused by the same demon whose home is inside your belly, explained Naruto, earning looks of total shock from Kira. This was not his life at all. Kira always had at least someone to look out for him, and never once did people look at him with hate, while growing up. He at some point believed that was all because of the fact that his brother was next in line for the Raikage's position, but seeing another Jinchuriki explaining a life completely different than his, he could understand why this fellow wouldn't rely on the Kyuubi for power. The demon fox, of course, made his life a living hell. But Naruto wasn't done explaining. Nevertheless, while I don't embrace its power, that doesn't mean I didn't take responsibility for what happened to the village. For numerous times, I faced, on my free will, the punishment that the shinobis back home wanted to inflict at Kyuubi. I took them all without even a blink. Kyuubi is, after all, a part of my being, no matter how much people I care about say otherwise. No matter what I do, he will always be around, so it would be worthless to deny it, said Naruto, earning a nod in astonishment from Kira. What are you telling me about this? You don't even know me, asked Kira, before looking intently at Naruto's mask to study the man's eyes, but surprisingly, no sadness reaction was visible. Kira expected this man to open up his life and then begin crying, but instead, Naruto's eyes were as passive as a trained shinobi was during a mission. I just wanted to show you why I don't intend to use the Kyuubi's chakra, and while he's a part of my being, I don't have to rely on him to win battles. I have my own strength to deal with Konoha's enemies, explained Naruto. Kira couldn't help but smile at the man in front of him. Hearing the man's history, one could presume that he became as evil as the devil inside of him, but no. Naruto was not strong physically but in spirit as well. This fight was over, there wasn't any reason to fight in the first place. Their mission was to talk to the Sanbi, and that was all. You earned my respect, Anbu-san. I never thought to hear a guy with such strong resolve. My quarrel with you was only for pure pride in my abilities. As to why I'm here, I think we share the same mission, said Kira, to which Naruto nodded, before hearing something. Naruto, be aware, I sensed some high chakra signature nearby, and it certainly resembles one from Akatsuki, said Kyuubi. Kira, I'm afraid we have to deal with a common enemy. Kyuubi said to me that someone from Akatsuki is observing us. Could you help me deal with this guy? Asked Naruto, to which Kira nodded, before using Hachibi's power to further improve his senses. Immediately, his eyesight was improved and he could very well see the black robe with red clouds looking at them. Before we do this, how can I address you? Asked Kira, to which Naruto smirked and asked to be called Black Wolf. Okay, Black Wolf, a few miles that way is a guy that looks like a giant plant. He happens to be using their clothes, said Kira, earning a nod from Naruto, who explained his plan. underscore equals with Zetsu equals. The giant plant man got somehow lucky that he managed to spot the Hachibi's vessel. Apparently, he was an Anbu from Kumo and was fighting an Anbu from Konoha. He couldn't be too close to hear the conversation from fear of being discovered. But the fact remained that he found the Hachibi and would do everything to capture him for the group. Suddenly, Zetsu felt the use of chakra nearby and got ready for everything. He didn't know he could be traced, but he was prepared to defend himself if needed be. Looking around, he realized much too late that he was being trapped inside a minor genjutsu that would change his surroundings, hence the fact that when Naruto appeared behind him, Zetsu was actually seeing a couple of foes in front of him approaching. Naruto, seeing the opportunity to once again use his illusion fist style, focused chakra to his feet and slammed it on Zetsu's back, thus sending him flying towards the lake where Naruto and Kira were fighting earlier. Zetsu, though being the experienced shinobi he was, used the momentum and flipped his body in order to land safely on the ground. However, before he could actually land, a giant hand suddenly grabbed him and lifted the whole way up for Zetsu to be face to face with the Hachibi himself. "So, I was meaning to get my hand on at least one of you weaklings. You're unlucky since I happen to be herbivore, therefore I normally feed myself from plants," said the Hachibi, before placing the unfortunate S-ranked missing nin inside his mouth, before eating the damn plant. Meanwhile, both Naruto and Kira were looking at the huge demon as he killed one of the Akatsuki in the worst way possible. Just after the demon swallowed, it vanished and returned inside Kira, seconds before everyone appeared once again, panting from extreme exhaustion. Both sides were pretty much even and no one would land a decent blow on the other. Both the groups decided to join forces with their missing members, however all of them looked like their missing members were crossing their arms, while just talking. "Black Wolf, what's the meaning of this? He is our enemy," shouted Hawk, slightly agitated that Black Wolf was just standing there while he and the others were doing the fighting. However, he saw that while Naruto's Anbu armor was unscathed, he couldn't say the same for Kira. "Sorry Hawk Taiko, we engaged against one another in battle, however I'm afraid Akatsuki decided to meddle in our fight, hence why we stopped and took care of him," said Naruto like it was nothing. However, the shock of his words soon was visible and everyone began questioning how and who. "I don't know who the guy was or what his name was. What I do know is that he appeared to be like a plant and was spying on us, and he was a missing nin from Kusa. I managed to see his crossed hit I ate. Well, long story short, my friend here ate the damn plant and is now digesting it as we speak," explained Naruto, earning laughter from Kira and a look of disgust from Kurenai. So, after calming the group down, Kira explained to the Konoha nins that he was here to talk with the Sanbi, since the turtle called into him for help. Naruto chose not to reveal that he was here for the same thing from fear of exposing his position as Jinchuriki, so he explained that Konoha's mission was to do some recon of this area and blamed the heavy mist as the reason. Naruto's team were highly experienced and knew not to contradict him, and Kira, having already heard Naruto's plea not to divulge his vessel, nodded in understanding. The group of Kumo nins said for Kira to step things up with his objective while they would be resting a bit on their camp they made not so far, so Naruto was relieved as hell, since he couldn't go with Kira to meet the Sanbi. Looking at one another, Naruto and Kira nodded and walked towards the lake, in order to meet up with the three-tailed demons, while Naruto's group stood guard at the lake shore. After a while of walking, both Kira and Naruto felt the strong presence before the entire lake began to glow a golden color. Both of them were startled at first, but their respective demons calmed them, saying that the turtle was just coming out of hiding. Looking from above, only Naruto and Kira were visible. However, a sudden shadow below the water appeared small and began growing as it was submerging. It wasn't long until the turtle's body became fully submerged and he was facing both Naruto and Kira. "Greetings, Kyuubi-sama, Hachibi-sama, stated Sanbi, before the images of both the 8-tailed ox and the 9-tailed fox appeared behind their respective Jinchurikis. Chapter 17 Akatsuki's Secret. Beta. Dritya. Although Sanbi did greet the Kyuubi and the Hachibi, the scene could be better described as Sanbi facing Naruto and Hachikira. The demon was speaking to the two of them, but he was referring to their inside demons since they were able to communicate freely. Because of that, Naruto and Kira ended up being only the ones who brought their demons for a little conversation. As he heard Kyuubi speaking in mind in some random language he had never heard of, he instantly assumed it was what the fox had referred to as demon language. Having nothing to do but wait, Naruto wondered how his team fared against Kumo's Thunder Anbu team. You know, since we have nothing to do but wait, we could talk for a little while. What do you say? I'm most interested in getting to know a fellow Anbu Jinchuriki. There aren't many left these days, you know, asked Kira as he turned to Naruto and adjusted one of his sword's handles from blinding his vision a bit. Naruto looked at the man and wondered a bit. He wanted to be quiet for a while as he heard the demons talking, but seeing as the man did propose some side activity to pass the time, he guessed he could grant him a couple of words. The truth of the matter was that Naruto had only met one Jinchuriki before, and it was Gaara of the Sand. He heard of one Jinchuriki in Kumo, who happened to be captured by the Akatsuki, but that was about it. Maybe it would be good to get to know a second person who happened to share the same fate as him. I guess we can talk for a while. I never knew that demons talked so much and it quite freaked me out as well, said Naruto, earning a snicker from Kira, followed by three demons grumbling, before returning to their conversation. I'm very curious as to the treatment you received in Konoha as a Jinchuriki. In Kumo, there was another one like us, but unfortunately she was captured. Nevertheless, both she and I weren't as badly treated as you were. Why is that? Asked Kira before looking as the blonde furrowed his head in thought. I guess how the Hachibi appeared in Kumo isn't in any way similar to how Kyuubi did. 17 years ago the fox was responsible for almost leveling the entire village. He killed many, both civilians and shinobi, and, by consequence, all of their families who mourned their deaths developed a deep and subconscious hatred for the fox. If they had known that the fourth Hokage killed the beast instead of sealing it inside me, I might have had a normal life, or at least the normal life of an orphan, as I never knew my parents. They died just not long after I was born. As a result of these events, I was treated as the village's scapegoat for all their subconscious rage and anger, explained Naruto before he continued. Ah, you said that in Kumo there was another one like us. Tell me something about her. I heard rumors about Kumo having the Nibi as well, asked Naruto, to which Kira nodded and began to explain. Yugito Ni was considered the best kunoichi that ever joined Kumo's ranks. Of course, her demon Nibi no Nekomata was a serving demon, so it loaned energy whenever Yugito needed it. The Yondaime Raikage trained us from the beginning to deal with life and death situations, thus sending us on to S-ranked missions all the time. She was an orphan just like you, but the Raikage acted both as her teacher and her caretaker. In the end though, she was up against two of the Akatsuki and was easily captured for unknown reasons. She was a kunoichi with much promise, but unfortunately they caught her and captured Nibi, thus killing her as a result, said Kira, though Naruto could sense the last part was spoken with clear sadness, which meant that he was close to Yugito. You sound as if the two of you were close to each other, asked Naruto, earning a sad nod from Kira. We were promised to each other from birth for marriage. Although it would be a forced marriage, in theory, both of us fell in love with each other as time passed. I still remember the last thing she said to me before I went on a mission, said Kira as he remembered what happened. Flashback on. The sun in Kumo was almost setting and both Kira and Ni were sitting on top of the Thunder Cage's monument located at the highest mountain in a similar way to Konoha. Yugito was resting her head on Kira's shoulder with her eyes closed and a smile on face. The scene couldn't be more perfect to her. They were scheduled to get married in a week from today, and while it was already settled before they became shinobis, both of them longed for the day to come. Suddenly a chunin arrived and called Kira for a meeting with the Raikage for a mission towards the capital city of Lightning Country. Kira nodded sadly and awakened his soon-to-be wife, who had dozed off, to tell her the news. When he left her in her house, she called him and spoke. "Come back safe, my love. When you return from your mission, we'll be able to live our lives with happiness, and my heart will, for the first time, feel true warmth of being loved," said Yugito after they shared a kiss. At the time, Kira smiled and promised to come back to her no matter what. He didn't know, however, that this was the last time he would see his beloved and soon-to-be wife. Flashback off. After I came back from my mission, the Yondaime Raikage gave me the news of Yugito's capture by Akatsuki. It took my brother, the Godaime Raikage, and a couple of my Anbu team to keep me from releasing the Hachibi and destroying the entire Hokage tower. It didn't matter though, as my dear Yugito was dead and I wouldn't see her again, explained Kira before looking at the lake water and seeing the reflection of Yugito smiling at him. Naruto could sympathize with the man. Even if the woman of his dreams wasn't dead, he had felt like he lost her when he saw Kurenai together with Asuma. Naruto was afraid to imagine what he would do if he knew Kurenai passed away. "I'm terribly sorry for your loss. I have a girlfriend in Konoha and I care for her a lot. I wouldn't know what to do if she suffered the same fate as your beloved Yugito. May Kami have her soul right now," said Naruto, earning an appreciated nod from Kira. After hearing Naruto's words, Kira couldn't help but smile upon hearing that at least, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki found happiness in his life. However, the fact remained that he missed his wife and nothing would change that. "It's good to hear you found someone. My advice to you is to protect her at all times and do not let her go. Trust me, the pain I felt for losing her doesn't even compare to the pain I felt for not being able to do anything to prevent it from happening," said Kira, earning a nod from Naruto, who knew about this all too well. "For all the power both you and I have because of our inner demons, and to not be able to save those you care for is the most brutal punishment anyone in our position could receive. Because of my position back in the village, I could count with both my hands the number of people who don't hold a grudge against what I carry inside me, and if I was unable to save these precious few, then I would rather kill myself because the pain would be unbearable," explained Naruto. Kira was beginning to lose control of his emotions and instantly blocked everything. Yugito's death hurt him a lot and he just knew that he wouldn't get over it anytime soon. "Anbu-san, for the sake of my insanity I'd rather stop talking about my beloved Yugito. I'm not prepared to deal with this yet. Now, tell me something. Your fighting skills were very impressive back there. I was wondering about that speed of yours. You must have trained really hard," asked Kira, to which Naruto nodded and explained. "Having an abundance of chakra to use, I can channel large portions of chakra and channel it through my legs, earning the necessary propulsion. Not to mention those damn weights I had to get used to. What about you? I never saw anyone using 8 swords at the same time before. Why use so many?" asked Naruto, though this time, he wondered if he was asking confidential information to the man. After all, a ninja's best ally is his secrets. Kira, however, didn't believe so, as he explained about the 8 styles of kenjutsu that he invented with the aid of his inner demon, who happened to be the 8-tailed demon. Naruto learned that it took Kira nearly 4 years to develop the style into perfection, and until today, no one managed to face him in battle and not get sliced like this because of it. "You know, I once defeated one of the legendary swordsmen of the mist. Kisame, I think, was his name. It happened about 10 years ago while he was still a member of Mist's ranks. His Samahata wasn't powerful enough to hold against my 8 swords. I'll tell you though, that shark was one tough opponent to beat, not to mention that it wasn't a complete win, since I had to flee with my team back then, but it was a nice fight. though, said Kira as he remembered that shark-like sword almost shattering his swords. Naruto too remembered engaging Kisame along with Hawk. Kisame was indeed a worthy opponent. It took me and another Anbu to take him down, said Naruto, quite expecting Kira to break his neck from turning so fast, but instead the man just slowly turned and looked at him in wonder, before Naruto explained. Kisame was from the same group as that plant guy we beat was. He and his partner, Uchiha Itachi, came looking for me in hopes of capturing the fox, however they had to face Konoha Anbu's finest, hence how we managed to kill Kisame. Itachi however escaped our clutches, explained Naruto, earning a nod from Kira before the fox called their attention. Naruto, our conversation is over and Sanbi here has news regarding the technique behind the demon extraction seal. It consists of a fuinjutsu technique that requires 9 sources of power to extract the demon at the same time. What Sanbi didn't mention is that even with some of the members dead they can still continue with the procedure, explained Kyuubi, earning a thinking pose from Naruto and Kira. Naruto was considering the information known so far and tried to assimilate everything. It required 9 sources of chakra to maintain the sealing technique, but if more than half of the members are dead, then how would they be able to extract demons? Suddenly Kira voiced his thoughts. I couldn't say I met all of them to verify some pattern, but the plant guy named Zetsu wore a ring with a kanji engraved on it. There is a possibility that each member wears one different, and those rings, together, are responsible for the technique, advised Kira before Naruto continued the line of thought. If that's true, then I believe Konoha may be of assistance, said Naruto, earning the attention of Kira and the voices of 3 demons asking what he was talking about. Naruto remembered that Kisami's body was still due to be analyzed before being sent to Kiri for the bounty on his head. So the ring must still be on Kisami's body. One of their members was killed by Anbu forces some time ago, and I happened to know it would take a while to examine him before sending his head to Kiri for the bounty. His ring must still be attached to his hand. I bet Jiraiya could analyze it and finish the missing piece of their technique, explained Naruto. Kira and the demons acknowledged that possibility, and the demons now considered meeting once more in the future to discuss further developments. Sanbi was to hide at the bottom of the lake until told otherwise, and Naruto and Kira would return to their home villages. Kira-san, we'll meet again to discuss this issue and hope to eliminate this group once and for all, said Naruto before turning and focusing chakra to his legs. However, he was about to jump towards the shore when Kira called him. Wait, I told you my name, and since we're together on this, please tell me yours, asked Kira, earning a look of suspicion from Naruto. He wanted to leave without having to blow his identity. However, Naruto saw no ill intent coming from Kira, so it would be fair to do this. Uzumaki Naruto, said Naruto, earning a nod from Kira, who appreciated and vanished. _= at the Hokage's office . 2 days later, Naruto and his team reported their mission to meet the Sanbi and explained about the fuinjutsu technique that was used to extract the demons. Jiraiya was also there and became intrigued with such a technique. The pervert asked for the ring and Tsunade agreed to give it to him, with one condition. The condition was that the pervert had to remain within the village walls, while studying the ring, because it was now a valuable object. Being the free spirit that he was, of course, Jiraiya first objected to the idea. However, the possibility of stopping the group from sealing the last 2-tailed demons made him think twice and accepted the restriction. Naruto, I understand you engaged against the Hachibi Jinchuriki. Are his skills enough to avoid being captured? Asked Tsunade, earning a nod from Naruto, who began to explain. Hachi Kira is, unlike me, almost 100% reliant on the 8-tailed demon. In fact, his entire fighting style revolves around the demon. I engaged him, sure, but for some reason, he didn't use the demon's power against me, but in human terms, I managed to beat him. It was then that Zetsu appeared and we had to deal with him. As to his abilities, I'm sure he wouldn't be captured so easily. Just seeing his wife's killer would send his blood boiling. I know mine would, explained Naruto with his arms crossed, but everyone could see he was looking down towards the ground. Kurenai saw this and became worried about her lover. Ever since they took the trip back to Konoha, Naruto was behaving like this and it scared her too. She was determined to ask what was on his mind. Eventually, Tsunade dismissed the team since there was something she needed to discuss with Jiraiya, so the group nodded and vanished, thus leaving the two Sannin alone. "What do you think has happened?" asked Tsunade, to which Jiraiya turned to think for a bit. Since Naruto joined the Anbu forces, not even a single hint of emotion could be seen from the blonde. "Beats me, I stopped trying to understand the real enigma that is Uzumaki Naruto. What I'm worried about right now is studying the ring and finding a countermeasure in case they try using the rings again," stated Jiraiya, earning a nod from Tsunade. "This seal will grant you authority to see Kisami's corpse and extract the ring from his hand. We need to find something really fast. Get on it," ordered Tsunade before seeing Jiraiya nod and vanish. == inside Naruto's place == After leaving Tsunade's office, Hawk, Bear and Dog went to the Anbu HQ while Naruto and Kurenai went to the blonde's apartment, seeing as the whole team got a day to rest from the fights that occurred. Just after Kurenai closed his door, she saw Naruto taking off his mask and sitting on his couch while still looking down in thought. Kurenai, sometimes, couldn't understand her boyfriend's feelings and it concerned her to no end. She wanted to be there for him, and now either he didn't want to talk about what happened or it could be one of those deep secrets that exist regarding Naruto. "Naruto, please talk to me, I want to know why you're feeling so sad. I want to help you," begged Kurenai as she sat down near him, but he still didn't look at her. Ever since he heard Kira talking about Yugito, Naruto began to imagine what would happen if Kurenai suffered the same fate. Needless to say, he didn't want to think about it, but the more he saw Kurenai, the worse the feelings got. Kurenai, though, was resolved to get through to her boyfriend no matter what. "Naruto, you can trust me with whatever it is you're feeling right now," said Kurenai, looking at his cerulean blue eyes while trying to predict the subject of his grief before he began muttering a few words. Kur-chan, said Naruto before seeing Kurenai smile and nod for him to continue. "The Hachibi Jinchuriki told me that Akatsuki led his fiancé, and I didn't want to think about it, but then I started thinking of what I would do if I lost you. I'd completely lose my mind about Kur-chan. I wouldn't know what to do," sniffed Naruto, but Kurenai placed her fingers on his mouth and did a gentle whisper, "Shish," to calm him down before she hugged the fierce Shippu Ukamis, who had tears falling freely on his face. Now that she knew what Naruto was thinking about, it filled her heart with warmth hearing Naruto's feelings for her. However, she needed to assure him of her capabilities as a Junin. Smiling, Kurenai positioned Naruto's face in order to maintain eye contact before smashing her lips on his with passion. Naruto returned the kiss and hugged her for dear life, for this was one of the rarest moments in his life that a ninja could afford to lower his guard and just be human. Minutes later, Kurenai broke the kiss and just stared at his endless cerulean blue eyes that hold great love for her. "Rest assured, my love, I'm one of Konoha's top Junin kunoichis. There is no way Akatsuki would try something without at least me being able to call for backup. Aside from Itachi, no one can use genjutsu against me, and that gives me leverage in battle. Besides, the one the fierce Shippu Ukami chose as companion can't be called weak, now can't she?" asked Kurenai, earning a snicker from Naruto, who by now dried all the pent-up tears. "Thank you, Kurenai-chan, for everything," said Naruto before falling to unconsciousness right on Kurenai's lap. The woman was stunned for a while, but then she smiled like never before. Seeing a ninja such as Naruto being this comfortable around her meant only one thing: unconditional trust and confidence that she would be there for him no matter what happened. Then, she just sat there passing one hand through his golden locks and the other was gently caressing his face until she touched near the whisker marks and saw his body get relaxed. "You're sensitive around this area, aren't you, Naru-kun?" smiled Kurenai, while never stopping to caress his hair and face, feeling more and more love for the blonde that captured her heart for good. Underscore. Inside Naruto's mindscape . After he blacked out, Naruto instantly appeared inside his mindscape and faced the almighty Kyuubi no Yoko. He felt Kurenai's hands rubbing his whisker marks and smiled in relaxation while being able to hear her gentle voice. "You know, I'm not much for sentimentality here, but I can see how you feel for your mate and she does for you," said Kyuubi as he was lying down with his paws crossed and his tails flipping side by side. "After Kira's story I couldn't help but think that they would kill her to get to me, but I should have more faith in her abilities as a Junin and hope to be there for her. Now, why did you feel the need to contact me, Kyuubi?" asked Naruto, earning a look of interest from the fox who didn't think the blonde would figure this out from pure body language. "You became perceptive with time, I see. Yes, I have something urgent to discuss and I am concerned about your abilities. I know that your sensei helped you with close contact fighting, but we need to see to that you could cover all your grounds. I happen to find a suitable opponent from your memories that will be able to cover all types of fighting, going from close to long-range fighting. Meet Uchiha Itachi," said Kyuubi, before Sasuke's brother suddenly appeared in front of Naruto, earning a look of wonder from the blonde. "You're kidding with me, right? Not even Kakashi-sensei and the Hokage could deal with him and you expect me to win this battle?" objected Naruto, but Kyuubi wouldn't hear it and instead decided to speak through Itachi. "You'll have to face me sooner or later, Naruto. It's better you face me here where you don't need to worry about him capturing you and endangering us. Itachi will have two purposes, one will be to see if you could top an experienced Uchiha in a fight and two will be to understand how Itachi fights and possibly study the Sharingan a little better," explained Kyuubi, earning a snarl from Naruto from seeing a simple stare of those accursed eyes. "But how can you replicate this Itachi's Sharingan and its abilities?" asked Naruto, though he feared he now asked too much since seconds after he shut his mouth, dead silence enveloped the area. The blonde didn't know what happened. It appeared to be a simple question. But when Kyuubi remained quiet soon afterwards, it somehow became clear to Naruto that maybe there was a connection between the accursed eyes and the fox in front of him. History tells us that the Uchiha were born because of one member of the Hyuga clan who made a pact with a demon in exchange for obtaining a new form of Dujutsu named the Sharingan. Sighing in realization, Naruto looked at Itachi knowing he would be talking to the fox. "I see it now, you're the one who created the accursed eye, didn't you, Kyuubi?" asked Naruto before being able to see a slight nod from Itachi and smiling in contemplation. "You don't seem to bother much after learning the truth, Naruto. Why so?" asked the fox, earning a nod from Naruto, who turned to explain his thoughts. "Why would this bother me at all? The Sharingan was cursed, but the ones that came from the Uchiha clan were so as well. Both Itachi and Sasuke were driven by pure desire for power for reasons I rather don't judge. In the end, both did things that were referred to as being evil. Itachi murdered his clan for unknown reasons and Sasuke betrayed Konoha once in order to kill the one who murdered his family. In the end, it wasn't because of the eye, but rather their corrupted thinking, who, even though they possess the all-seeing eye, are blinded to those around them. The Sharingan can be a good weapon for those who know how to use it, like Kakashi-sensei. However, for those with weak minds, the Sharingan overrules their judgment on things and see them as being less important. The events that happened because of the Sharingan couldn't, in no way, shape or form, return to the creator. So, why would I bother to know it was you who granted the Uchiha the accursed eye?" explained Naruto, earning a nod from Itachi followed by a smile. "Well, Enough of the Sharingan, seeing that it doesn't bother you. Itachi will be fighting against you, but he won't use the Mangenkyu Sharingan. The reason being that he could use techniques that no matter your abilities, you wouldn't have a chance in hell of defeating them, well not unless you have me to help. But in this case, you're on your own, so we'll begin the fight immediately. Remember, even without the Mangenkyu, Itachi was your superior at the age of 13, so his skills aren't limited to the kaleidoscope form of the Sharingan. Where do you wish the fight to happen? Asked Kyuubi before seeing Naruto think for a while. Konoha's training ground number 7, Kyuubi. We need an open field in order to test everything we have up our sleeves, said Naruto, earning a nod from the fox, who immediately used his powers to create the image of them facing each other at the same place Naruto's Genin team had their true Genin test. The sun was scorching hot, which could only attest for Kyuubi's creativity while recreating live scenarios. After observing the place for a while, Naruto looked at Itachi, now with his Anbu armor and a ninjutsu strapped on his back. Naruto never got to see Itachi's sword because of the stupid black cloak that he wears all the time. Looking closely, Naruto could plainly see the red eyes with 3 tomo, which indicated that Itachi was ready for Naruto's first move. While making hand seals, Naruto didn't object to Itachi using the Sharingan to know the technique he would be using to start the fight. Futen Daitapa, wind release, great breakthrough jutsu. Instantly, a huge gust of wind charged against Itachi, who in turn, with calm and tranquility, made the hand signs needed for the Kaden Gukakyu no Jutsu, fire release, great fireball jutsu, and exhaled a huge ball of fire. The techniques, upon contact, nullified one another and created a lot of smoke that covered the field, thus giving Naruto the necessary leverage of Itachi having to resort to his instincts. Taking his sword off the handle, Naruto focused some chakra on his feet for the necessary propulsion and got into the heavy smoke. After leaving, he saw Itachi already halfway through, holding his own ninjutsu in preparation for Naruto's swing. The blonde smiled and swung his sword from the right side downwards to upwards, in hopes of attacking Itachi with a diagonal strike. However, this time Itachi easily blocked the attack because of the Sharingan and moved his sword to the left in order to attack Naruto's supposedly exposed side. Seeing the attack Naruto dodged almost constantly because of his initiative, he positioned his sword to block the strike, before using the momentum of the 2 swords clashing to land a kick on Itachi's chest. Itachi wondered what happened since his Sharingan should have seen the kick, however he realized that Naruto's eyes weren't focused on aiming his kick. Instead, they were locked at the 2 swords while they were at stalemate, meaning that Naruto had a good grasp on how to counter the Sharingan's abilities. Nicely done, Naruto, however this is just getting started, said Kyuubi, and in an instant Itachi made hand seals with speed that could rival the Sandaime Hokage back in his prime. After the final tiger seal, Itachi whispered Kaden Karyu Enden, fire release, fire dragon missile jutsu. What happened afterwards? A white layered fire was expelled from Itachi's mouth and charged straight at Naruto, who in turn, didn't have any other choice but to use a jutsu to defend himself. Sweetened Sujinheki, water release, water barrier jutsu, shouted Naruto while looking at the incoming flames, before a huge wall of water appeared in front of him, thus defending him from the blast. Shifting sideways, Naruto made some fast hand seals before focusing on Raiden Kusari Raiko, lightning release, lightning chain jutsu. Since Itachi was focusing on his fire technique, he didn't have enough time to see Naruto. Hand seals before a huge dark cloud appeared on top of him and began destroying the field with lightning bolts. Quickly evading the consecutive attacks, he didn't even see Naruto coming directly from behind and landing a punch straight on Itachi's face, which sent him flying. However, the Itachi he hit was replaced by a murder of crows, indicating that Naruto was under a genjutsu. The crows, then, proceeded to attack Naruto with fury before Naruto used the famous dispelling technique and disrupted the genjutsu, but he wasn't fast enough to prevent a punch on the face from Itachi. Flipping his body, Naruto landed safely a few feet away and observed Itachi for a while. He managed to cast a genjutsu on the blonde by exchanging looks for 1 second. The elder Uchiha's reputation preceded him after all, Naruto thought. Looking for a while, Naruto observed that a few of the lightning had ended up hitting Itachi if the bruises on his arms were any indication, which meant that his best alternative was to stick to surprise attacks. The stunt Naruto pulled with the surprise ration attack could happen again, but now with a much stronger attack. If Naruto managed to use the same tactic and make Itachi use an offensive jutsu, he could use a defensive one, followed by a powerful offensive technique. However, that would be a plan for another time. Charging another time, this time with straight taijutsu, Naruto moved to punch Itachi but was blocked as Itachi, then, aimed for a middle kick on Naruto's side stomach before Naruto grabbed the man's foot and threw him away. Naruto then used a couple of shurikens and threw them at Itachi. The Uchiha flipped his body fast enough and used a kunai to stop the projectiles from reaching his body before throwing the kunai at Naruto and made some hand seals for Ninpu Kage Kunai no Jutsu ninja art, kunai shadow clone jutsu. Instantly, one kunai became 10 and all of them pierced Naruto's skin before transforming into a log. As soon as Naruto was about to attack once again, he heard Kyuubi ending the fight. "That will be enough, I'm satisfied with your abilities. You managed to overcome your shortcomings regarding close contact fighting. Now, it's about time for you to wake up," said Kyuubi, earning a nod from Naruto, who then vanished from his mindscape and opened his eyes to see his beloved looking at him. "Slept well, Naruto-kun. You could rest a while longer if you wish. I know I wouldn't mind caressing your hair some more," stated Kurenai before seeing Naruto laugh for a bit and get up from her lap. Actually, even if Naruto spent a good half an hour inside his mindscape, the notion of time is seriously reduced in the real world, hence why Naruto slept nothing more than 10 minutes. Seeing that it was already late, the couple soon went to sleep. Next day at training ground 15 The next day, Azuki Yugo was standing in the middle of the training ground waiting for her genin team to arrive. Fully dressed with the Junin attire and with a katana strapped on her back, she was staring at 3 ninjutsu stuck in the ground. Her genin team was composed of 2 girls and a boy. All 3 of them came from regular families, not one of them linked to Konoha's major clans. Actually, she kind of asked the Hokage to not set her up with anyone from a major clan, the reason being that in this way she could develop their abilities from scratch without having to worry about sharing their training with the clan. And that was precisely why she would teach them the way of the sword. In Konoha, not many ninjas choose to learn the art of kenjutsu, so it was safe to say, it became a lost art. Kids these days all wanted to know about flashy jutsu and beating the crap out of the opponents, but very few understand the need of learning to use a weapon, and Azuki Yugo intended to change that. Today would be her team's first official day as genin since 2 days ago. Yugo made all 3 of them run a little test of skills. She didn't believe in the second exam the academy students had to pass, so it was only a test to see where she needed to help them improve and which subjects she could teach her students. Just when she was about to wander any further, she heard footsteps coming and looked to the source's direction before smiling upon seeing her 3 genin. "Morning everyone, 2 days ago, you were tested and I made some notes regarding the areas that needs improvement. Aside from that, we're going to focus heavily on both chakra control and kenjutsu," said Yugo, earning a look in wonder from her 3 genin at the mention of the word kenjutsu. Upon seeing this, Yugo could only sigh in dismay as the genin didn't have a clue on what kenjutsu means. Kenjutsu means the art of the sword, and it consists of using the sword as an extension to the ninja's body, making him or her feared by the enemy. In front of you are 3 ninjutsu that will be used on your training and missions. Ninjutsu are used for precise attacks and agility in combat. Its smaller form allows the ninja an advantage of speed and better focus while attacking as well as in defense. Go ahead, each of you take one and start to get familiarized with your sword, explained Yugo before seeing them take the ninja out of its sheath and admiring it. In time, I'll teach you guys to use these blades as an extension of your body, as well as other supplementary ninja arts in order to implement your skills. Now about them, I used our last encounter as a way to determine a more suitable training for each of you, said Yugo as she looked at each one until she began with the boy. Yutaro, your ninjutsu is your strength, and I know from your files that you are already able to use on techniques. Doten manipulation, while the easiest element there is to learn, is quite handy in battle. It serves both as offense and defense. I happen to know a few techniques you could learn, but not until we improve your chakra control a bit. Compared to your teammates, your chakra control is minimal, but that's because your chakra reserve is much bigger, so it's understandable, said Yugo before seeing Yutaro nod. Looking at the first girl, Sasama, Yugo smiled and explained. Sasama, your chakra control is perfect, but we'll need to boost those chakra reserves and throw in a little stamina training. Your speed is considered one of the best of your generation and we'll train it. Also, you seem to have some knowledge on genjutsu as well, so we'll work on that as well. Last, but not least, Misao. Your abilities rely on taijutsu mostly, so kenjutsu will be a second close contact art for you. Also, you have the ability to channel chakra through your body, and that's a fantastic ability to have. All of you have the ability to grow strong and rise the ranks. Now we'll start with some laps around the training ground. Move it, shouted Yugo, earning a surprised nod from the genin before they began to run, with their swords strapped on their backs, in order to get accustomed to the feeling. _= at Tsunade's office ===. Looking through some documents, Tsunade found a mission request coming from a High Lord from Fang Country requesting a document retrieval mission from some Iwa missing nins who happened to break into his castle and steal it from him. Immediately, Tsunade began writing below the request, the shinobi part, like the rank type and what skills would be needed to complete this task. Iwa missing nins automatically raised the mission bar to at least B ranked, so no one under Junin or high-level Chunin would be called for this. Next, the type of skills needed to find the missing nins, beat them to a pulp and recover the stolen documentation. Plus the fact that the man is of high nobility, Tsunade was hard-pressed not to remote the list to mid to high-level Junin-level ninjas to fulfill this mission. So, it would be either elite Junins or Anbu members to perform the mission. Unfortunately, all Junins were on missions right now, leaving only a few low-level ones and a lot of Chunins. Therefore, it would be Anbu then. Taking an envelope inside one of the drawers, she began to scan the names of Anbu operatives that would be best suited for the mission. Okay, then, Hawk Bear and Dog were sent together with the Anbu commander for a mission towards Kumo. Shikamaru would definitely be on this mission because of his intellect, and Shino will be as well. Both managed to surprise a lot of people because of their teamwork in missions. Now, I believe sending 2 Anbu-level shinobi will prove to be wrong, since I don't know how many missing nins there are. It's better to put a powerhouse on the group to be able to take on many opponents at once, and I can't think of anyone better suited for this position than Naruto, thought Tsunade as she placed the mission specifics and reached for Shizune to call the names listed on the paper. Within minutes, the 3 of them appeared inside Tsunade's office before saluting the Hokage. Good timing. Now, as you know, I'm issuing an A-ranked mission towards Fang Country. A high official from the daimyo's castle contacted us to retrieve a document that was stolen by Iwa missing nins for reasons he didn't state in the letter. Your mission is to track the Iowa missing nins down and retrieve the document. We don't know how many are there, so proceed with care. Black Wolf will be the leader of the team. You are all to leave in half an hour. Godspeed to all of you and return safe, said Tsunade before seeing the three vanish via Shunshin. The three Anbu appeared on the top of the Hokage's office. Shikamaru, with the deer mask, turned to Naruto and looked at him for a while. So, Naruto, we're finally working together on a mission, huh? I felt kind of bad to be on different teams, but now we get to run a mission together, said Shikamaru, earning a nod from Naruto, who took off his mask and smiled at his partner. I was also wanting to see how you guys would fare against a fair number of opponents. I trust you're better prepared than before, if Yamato's reports are any indication. You finally mastered the suit on manipulation Shikamaru, and Yoshino managed ratio manipulation. I'm pretty sure we will be able to nail these guys and send the bounty to Iowa. Meet me in half an hour at the North Gate, we're going hunting, said Naruto before he vanished within a small typhoon, thus leaving Shino and Shikamaru alone to look at each other. Shino was quite pleased to work alongside Naruto as well, in the thought of seeing the blonde performing some heavy artillery jutsus against the Iowa missing nins. Both of them were eager to see Naruto in action. Naruto, after leaving Shikamaru and Shino, decided to scout throughout Konoha in order to locate his beloved. If he remembered correctly, she said that she would meet Anko for some lunch at the Dango restaurant. So when Naruto arrived inside, he was surprised to see not only the two, but also Ino there as well. The girls, upon seeing the black-masked Anbu, got different reactions. Kurenai smiled broadly seeing her boyfriend, and Anko smiled too from already knowing the black-masked Anbu. Ino, though, couldn't remember when she saw such an imposing mask before, but she had to admit it was scary to say the least. Seeing her uneasiness, Kurenai smiled. Ino-chan, you don't need to be scared, it's just my boyfriend coming to greet me, said Kurenai as she got up from the table and approached the black-masked Anbu before hugging him with affection. Kur-chan, I'm about to go on a mission now with Shikamaru and Shino towards Fang Country. The mission is due to end shortly, so I won't be gone for long, said Naruto, earning a nod followed by a kiss on his cheeks, after removing his mask a bit. You be careful out there, okay, and come back to me, said Kurenai, to which Naruto smiled and assured her once again, that no matter what, he'd always come back to her. He kissed her one more time and was about to leave when Ino called to him and asked if Shikamaru would be going as well, to which Naruto nodded. Okay then, could you take care of him for me, Naruto? He's been doing these tough missions non-stop right now and I fear that something might happen to him. He's not trained to battle multiple opponents like you, asked Ino, but was interrupted by Kurenai, who advised Ino to trust Shikamaru's abilities. Don't worry Ino, Shikamaru has improved a lot in battle. He will be just fine, besides he got both Shino and me to look out for each other, we'll do fine. Now, Kur-chan, I have to go now, I'm supposed to meet them in 10 minutes, said Naruto, earning a nod from Kurenai, who whispered prayers of good luck to his ear and landed a gentle kiss on his cheek before Naruto vanished. _____ at the gate ____. Shikamaru and Shino were already there waiting for their Anbu captain to arrive. Shikamaru was now thinking about the irony of the situation. 5 years ago, he wouldn't even think of Naruto being a mission leader, but now the blonde changed so much, it was like a totally different person. He was about to wander more but was interrupted when Naruto arrived and issued their strategy towards the client's house. In seconds, the group were already traveling through the trees heading for Fang Country. That's it for Part 12. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Naruto What If stories. And comment below, what do you think the Black Wolf should do next? See you in the next video.